the things. I've invited Rick to be the co-host. This is not going to turn into a space where we're going to get back into drama. Now, if somebody has a question and Rick wants to answer it, but we don't want to spend 20 minutes on drama. So I just want to be real clear about that. If you've got a legitimate question and it's not a bullshit question, I'll let anybody up other than Red, because I'm not going to let him come in here.
I logged on to the other one, but I guess this is the newer one. I think it's, we can have a nice chat tonight. I don't want to get into arguments with people. I won't get in arguments with people. And there's just too much that has gone around that is, I can identify as disinformation. And there's a lot of people out there that who came forward, diming people that were connected to certain other groups, such as Greer's group, and it's not difficult. It's really not difficult to connect who's trying to spread the truth and who's trying to spread disinformation. There's so much disinformation out there, and if you're following the disclosure, you're following the disclosure movement, and you don't realize that there's people out there planted in these spaces that are trying to disinform you, you're very, very, very naive, or you're just not intelligent enough to be in this game. You just need to get out, because if you can't realize that the United States government has active deception operations, and that's just another word for disinformation, going on to prevent disclosure, then you need to move on to something else. There's so much going on right now between DIA, CIA, the DOD, Department of Defense, inside the Pentagon. There's I'm not gonna say what it is.
Are we implying that like Red's on some kind of pay with some?
I've been told by multiple people that have direct access that he is getting compensation. Now, whether he thinks it's legitimate or he doesn't care, I don't know. That's for him to answer. But I don't think he would admit. If Greer were his handler, there's no fucking way. He's not going to probably go on a rampage like Poptart did. Poptart, nobody really knew what the hell he was doing, because he would just be pumping Greer every fucking tweet he could. And I just thought, well, this guy just likes Greer, whatever, no big deal to me, right? And then something happened in his life that was very terrible, and then he just went off the rails. And as he was going off the rails, he decided to come clean on his whole deal with Greer. And so I didn't pay attention to it, because I didn't even know if it was true. It was like drama that I didn't care about. But now we're where we are now. And now it's like, oh shit, well, maybe there is something to this. So now I've got to look into it to see, okay, what the fuck's really happening here? And so that's why I'm even talking about this stuff, is because, yes, I really believe that Greer is that kind of person that would find those kind of people and do whatever it is that they agree to do and compensate them. That is what I'm saying. Correct. We'll just make it real clear. It starts with an N and ends with a D. So it's not hard to figure out after that.
All right.
You know what I mean? If you're thinking about intelligence and world intelligence and influence, that's where we're going with this.
Damn.
What do you know about those people, Gabe? You don't have to say their name if you don't want to.
I just think at this point, guys, like, holy fuck. Like,
all right, so let's just look at the data, guys. I'm just going to speak on the data. This is not speculative, what I'm about to say. Nothing that I'm about to say is speculative. Since December 11th, Red Panda and Tupa have combined made a total number of positive posts about Steven Greer to the total of 58 positive posts, and only 2 negative. This is starting December 11th of last year, right? Only 2 that could be construed as negative, and both of those were by Red Panda, and they were to the effect of something like the only red flag. Both times that was how both of the tweets were phrased. what happened on December 10th, the day before these posts started in earnest? Battle for Disclosure was released, Greer's last documentary, right? December 10th, and then December 11th, all of a sudden, weekly, Tupa and Red start making these posts starting December 11th, 2024. It's right there. The evidence is there. So I don't know. Maybe it's a coincidence that like that happened. I don't know. But yeah, that's facts. Like those are facts.
See, I want to say this about Greider. I respect that aspect of his research, is he's going after the data and the facts, and it's difficult for one researcher to do both, to investigate the stories and the people and go after the data and the facts, unless you've got a team of people. And I thank you for that, Greider.
That was good work, Greider.
But now,
great
does
work,
it necessarily? But now,
great
does
work,
it necessarily?
Great work, great work.
Red has every right. Let's just say he's doing that as an example, and he's not breaking the law. He could promote Greer all he wants, but if you're trying to attack other people for the benefit of Greer's narrative, and you're trying to go out and discredit other people for the benefit of Dr. Greer, and you're not just promoting Greer's stories, you're like an attack dog. That's where things get a little different, and that's where I get pissed, because it doesn't have to be Doty. It could be any of you guys in here. If he was
before the show, he was telling us. He told us why he was said.
Yes.
There's a criminal conspiracy working against me.
Yes.
And he wouldn't name the names. He kind of implied that they were people that are working for Greer, Steven Greer, but he literally said there's criminals. You wouldn't believe.
Why does Greer want to support Red and Tupa?
Well, it's just, okay, let me be clear. In my opinion, it's not just those two guys. It's a whole slew of other people. You want me to name the names, or should I just hold off on that?
Name it.
Yeah, hell yeah, name the names.
Okay. Third Phase of the Moon. Billy Carson. Erik Hecker. There's a few other names. Go ahead, Reverend. I want to let the Reverend speak. Go ahead, Reverend.
But yeah, I think it all makes sense when you look at their this whole anti Elizondo stance. It's it makes sense because we all know the feelings that Dr. Greer has for Elizondo. It would make sense that he would with the kind of money that guy makes, the kind of influence he has on the in the community, that he would make a push to to silence the people who aren't following his little narrative, because you can see the attempts that he's tried to make with the disclosure process, and all of a sudden now you have these people who are
And I can guarantee you 100% fact that for every space that is opens up on X or the ones on Instagram or TikTok are covered, we call it covered by the government. Right now, in this space right now, I can guarantee you there's two people that work for the government that's in here monitoring it. They're just monitoring. I don't even think they'll ever come up to speak, but they're monitoring it and probably recording it too. Although this is being recorded, I think. Yeah, it is. So I don't really care. You don't have to be careful what you say, because especially people who have never been in the government. You don't have any NDAs. You don't have any classified information to relate to us. But you just got to know that each one of these groups are being monitored. And then what they do is they gather the information that is talked about in here, and they can develop another deception operation against some other space or some other group of people. So I just wanted to get out there, and then I'll give somebody else the floor. But other than that, I haven't had any contact with Lou until recently, and I'm not going to discuss the conversations we had, but there are no hard feelings between, well, at least between myself and him. I'm not going to speak for him, but I think things were settled and So unfortunately, all these narcissists and I'll call them idiots within the Twitter or X jumped on this because there's a lot of people just have hard feelings towards me because they just don't understand what I did in the past. I mean, Red Panda, I heard him talk. I was listening anonymously, and he said Doty purposely went out there and targeted Benowitz, and which is not true. I didn't personally do anything. I was working for the United States government, and I was doing what I was told to do. And people that have been in a government service or military realizes that when you're given a job to do, you do the job. I mean, I don't care if you're a baker and they tell you that you got to bake chocolate chip cookies rather than sugar cookies. You're going to make the chocolate chip cookies because that's what you're told to do. It's no different. It's just a job. You know, I had a job to do. Now, and I've said this before. If I could go back and change some things, I would, because I was a young intelligence officer back in 1979, 1980. I did what I was told to do, but I realized that I probably could have amended some things or challenged some of the things, some of the operational plans that we had, and I didn't. But I always said that if I could go back, I probably would change some things. Not anything big, but some of the approaches that I did, and nothing that we did to harm Paul. As if you've ever listened to my lecture, we did more to protect Paul and help Paul than anybody could imagine. I mean, Paul was already a believer. His health wasn't very good. He was addicted to nicotine and caffeine, and he was taking medication that he shouldn't be taking. And we straightened that all out for him.
But when you're doing research, investigative research, you get a tip, then you go down that lane. You're looking for more tips. You're looking for corroboration. So at one point, when you get 3 or 4 people independently corroborating something, and then you take that information and you go to a source who has direct access to data, and you ask them, this is what I got here. Can you tell me if I am on the right page? And then they tell you, yes, you are on the right page, but I don't know that you should talk about this publicly. So that's why I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to give you guys some clues, but I'm not going to give you all the clues because I'm still collecting data. But I can promise you this, when the truth comes out, there's going to be a lot of people eating crow. I'm waiting because I'm watching to see who says what, going to these spaces. I see who comments. I see the comments they make. I'm taking names, and I'm taking names, brother. I'm taking names. So these people that are going to side with this lying little motherfucker. Yeah, you heard me say that, lying little motherfucker, Red Panda Koala. When you realize that I'm not just making this up, and I don't just have some beef with this guy all of a sudden out of no reason over Rick Doty. Rick Doty would not cause me to have a beef with Red Panda, but I could promise you that. I've been attacked over being friends with Rick Doty for 6 years. So Red Panda is not pissing me off because he's talking shit about Rick Doty. I promise you that's not
going on. Are going to start calling out a lot of other people that don't know what's going on.
Well,
Which
I
I'm
will
going to tell
definitely...
you. Hold on, Anjali. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I've already thought about this. I'm going to collect all the information, and I'm going to give it to somebody else, and I'm going to let them handle it because I'm not going to have any issues with the law or committing or being accused of any crimes. I'm not stupid like that. So Red is
right.
He's an idiot because he's in there running his mouth right now, and we're collecting more and more data and evidence. This reminds me a lot of like the P. Diddy thing, where he got away with that crazy bullshit that he did for over 20 years, and people kept information, they kept notes, they kept videos, they kept emails, they kept receipts, and now if you go and listen to the court proceedings, everybody's coming out, and he's cooked. Diddy is cooked, and I'm just saying, That's where I'm going with this.
Yeah, that's how it works.
This is
intelligence
cookable
knowledge.
data I have. Cookable, not just bullshit data. Weird thing about this is it really has not much to do with Rick. Rick, he made a mistake. I mean, you heard him say it in the space. He shouldn't have said what he said. He kind of, however it was meant to be, whatever. He realized he kind of fucked up. I mean, he admitted it. So, but, and no big deal. I mean, whatever, right? It's like, okay, whatever.
I was offered a job in 2019 by the United States Space Force, where Lou Elizondo worked, to work with him in disinformation. And I said, not no, but hell no. I'll never do that again. Did Lou bend the knee? Worked for him. I don't know what he did. You'd have to ask Lou.
Okay. But as a result of that screw up and Red deciding to highlight that created like a stir. And as a result of that stir, it caused others, including myself, to take a stronger look at all this and try to figure out, okay, why is this happening? Why? And then you go, it's not hard to figure out, Angeli. I know you're pretty smart if you have the time to do it. Well, it's way worse than what I imagine. That's the point I'm trying to make. I mean, I'm not in shock, but it's like, it's kind of, the Diddy trial, if you're following the testimony,
I'm not.
Think about
and I'm not into all that. Let me just finish. The more I hear, the more I realize, Jesus God, these people all were telling the truth, all of them, and they were all trolled and labeled crazy, and they were,
If I could just ask you, Erik, being that you have evidence, so you say, that you do not want to release yet, and you're continuing to gather evidence and you are going to turn that over to someone else to handle.
Smart.
What is your best hope or expectation for the rest of us in the community?
That's a great question.
Now at this moment.
Imagine this. Imagine you were me. And let's just assume that I'm telling you the truth 100%. Let's just go along. Let's just pretend or assume or whatever, right? And imagine you're me and now you know. Now, some people would think, well, fuck, I know. I know. I don't need to tell anybody. I got mine. You get yours. You go do your own research, right? Or I could take the approach, well, fuck. How many of us have spent hours and hours and hours of research driving to conferences and interviewing people and all the hard work trying to find out information that we can share with people so we can all learn what the real truth is. So what I'm trying to say is, if I were I think I would be a coward if I just walked away with all this and kept it in my pocket. So this will come out. I have to be very careful. And that's the point I'm trying to make.
Oh, it's coming out soon. Oh, it's coming out real soon.
To whom will you be giving this information?
I don't know yet. I haven't decided.
What I'm hearing is this. You've been going balls to the wall on this for some time with Red and Tupa. Now what I'm hearing you say is there's some aspect of this you're not entirely 100% confident on.
No. Wrong.
Okay.
Wrong.
All right. Let me just finish.
Hold on. No. Not some aspect of it that I'm completely confident. And I want to be clear about this. People that don't know that I supported Tupa and Red Panda in the beginning because, frankly, in hindsight, I didn't know what I was talking about 3 years ago. I admit it. And I'm going to bring up Red. I'm going to bring up Milkfart only because, all right, not because I have deep disdain for his behavior and how he went about whatever it was he went about. I had more anger about him. I'm not even mad really at Red. I think he's just a punk kid who made a bad decision and now he's stuck in it. So the point I'm trying to make is, but Milkfart was going after Red Panda and Tupa hard. I couldn't understand that. So out of naivete, I defended them for years. And now I learned this and I realize, holy shit, I've been defending the wrong guys. That's very upsetting to me, because I'm admitting that I fucked up. You think that's easy to do?
And the thing that just makes my head explode is Tupa and Red are out there saying that they are the ones that are fronting for real disclosure and trying to bring down the disinformation people. I mean, it's just beyond belief if it's true.
Well, there's more to that, but go ahead, Ryan Burns.
Yeah, I'd like to point out something else that took place, which might kind of be the smoking gun, which is November 18th is when the New Jersey drone thing started. And interestingly, you know, a narrative of extraterrestrials being nothing but friendlies.
Well, I got it more than writing. I've got recorded conversations. So if anybody want, you know what, if I played the recorded conversations as an example, and you heard the voice on the other end and the other voice on the other end, and then the other voice, and you heard them all independently that don't know each other saying the same thing, you would have no doubt in your mind either. Go ahead, Andra. Because if you're dealing with people in high positions, not me personally, but they have a program. Angela, let me ask you a question. If you walked into a program and you realize that if you were to talk about that program, that your career or your whatever could be...
When I see something like this or hear something like this, I'm just like, there's got to be more to it. There's got to be more to it. And it's only a matter of time. And just like you said, you can't put out everything you know at one time. You have to do it in increments. That's something that I actually learned from watching all these famous people go down. So I applaud you for doing it.
Are they paid operatives? Well, Erik, you know this. I was the first one that asked the question, and that's been a while now. I didn't say that that's what I thought they were, but the possibility has to be on the table.
Oh, they are.
If there's let me finish. If proof is shown that they are paid disinformation agents and on somebody's payroll other than Keemstar, and they've been lying to everybody, this is the same criticism I have about Doty, Elizondo, everybody else. Fuck the frauds and fakes. Don't lie in my face. I will punch you out. And I'm not kidding. That's one thing Erik and I share. I'm a Southerner. You're on
lie. Fire.
Let me finish, please, Randy.
Don't interrupt him. You go on. You go, boy.
Well, you shut up too.
You got
Look,
it.
The whole point here is the community has been going through constant turmoil for over a year for sure. We're in a position now that I think we're getting cleared of all the chaff generally. I don't think we're going to get anything from the government, so conversations I think are going to remain pretty fucking stale. Could be wrong about that. But the point is to sit here and have high school bullshit fests over stuff that we've talked about 10 million times, or small little detail scraps that do nothing but just talk into space ultimately, is a waste of everybody's time. We've got to change.
Okay, now there's a guy in here, a friend of mine who I trust. I'm so grateful that he doesn't normally speak in a space, and I'm going to pray to God that he just lets loose. Go ahead, Mr. Ryan. And nobody interrupt Ryan or I'll drop your ass down. Ryan, the owner of Space Wolf Research, that's literally next door to Skinwalker Ranch. I've literally camped on his property and seen some strange shit. That Ryan. Go ahead, Ryan. I want to hear what you got to say about all this.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, there is. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and to speak a little bit on this. And as Erik knows, I've spoken with some people who have sort of petitioned not to be named, and that's due to serious consequences. And they have not only implied, but verified operative status on a number of individuals, not all who are anonymous. As we know, there are some people who work anonymously and they won't enter any space as themselves, correct? They have these avatars that they hide behind, but there's a number of people that don't hide behind them. And this individual, again, these are allegations that are not coming from me, but and I'm no beneficiary of sharing this information in any way, shape, or form. but there have been allegations that operatives in the UFO field are in some way, shape, or form tied to these intelligence agencies, and that there's a little bit of a game of cat and mouse. So again, it's best not to use like the words like the M word that Dr. Dulce spoke of, but that there is a very real, and I think we have plenty of CIA friends. I mean, I've spoken to a number of people, and you know, CIA has such a deep, dark connotation, but at the end of the day, these are the people that are in our neighborhoods, you know, that live up the street from us, people that can't share a bunch of things, but at the end of the day, they have one job, and that is to secure our freedoms. And there's a number of them, and some have gone publicly talking about how much they dislike the fact that there are operatives that are controlled by intelligence agencies that are not them. Let's just say that's about what I got.
So you've been listening. I just, and I'm not here to promote Ryan, but let me just say something. If you guys are trying to find like the next 3 or 4 layers to any onion, go to Hero Paranormal on YouTube. That guy has done some deep dives, and he's got legitimate sources. So if you really want to go to the esoteric, but he has had those very similar experiences that you just described, Randy. He has experienced, and then some, because he owns Space Wolf Research, which sits literally next door, right up on the mesa. Down, look, you could see down right on Skinwalker Ranch. There's this little creek that separates the ranch where Skinwalker and his property, and I call it Cryptid Creek, because right there in that area where the Cryptid Creek area is, to the left, this is where the Indian land is. This is not owned by by Bugle or
See, that's where I was at, Erik. He's on that property there. And Chris says